Okay, it looks like I'm live. Now, this is going to be a very special live chess stream on Twitch, and this video will be available on all the social network platforms also. This video will be my attempt to teach beginners the French defense opening, as well as to explain why I have chosen the French defense as my main opening for Black. And I will explain when I use the French defense and when I don't. I will be explaining all of this. Also, this shirt is one that my mother gave me for Christmas. She has 5 gifts for me, and each day leading up to Christmas, I get to open one of them. This is the one that I opened. I didn't know what it was going to be, and it's this magnificent checkerboard rainbow shirt. Now, the interesting thing about this shirt is so colorful, and the filter that I use, which removes the background in OBS Studio, is confused by this. Like, it's completely confused, like it glitches out. Whereas that never happened if I'm wearing a solid color shirt. So the fact that it's a little bit glitchy is just kind of cool, actually. But anyway, when you see this shirt, you see it fits in with the theme of chess, because the checkerboard pattern is one of my favorite patterns. So anyway, thank you, Mom, for the shirt. And Merry Christmas in advance to everyone who celebrates Christmas, and Happy Hanukkah to the rest, or whatever else. I don't know. Anyway, that's not important. What is important is I'm going to be teaching the French defense. I'm going to be, in this stream or video recording, wherever you see it, I'm going to be teaching the way that I play the French defense, which may or may not be the right way. I'm still getting better at it. I'm still learning over time what works and what doesn't. But I have been watching videos by some of the grandmasters and international masters reviewing games played by people. And I do believe that at the beginner and intermediate level, the French defense is one of the best openings. And I will be attempting to make the case and prove that. But before we begin with all that, it is essential to do the mandatory intro video. So I'm going to be switching to playing my theme song, and then I'm going to be coming back to the chessboard here and explaining how the French defense is played. So stay tuned and enjoy the music.
Chastity sat down, chessboard in the light, pieces in a row, ready for the night.
All right. I hope you enjoyed that song. If you've never heard that song before, that song is titled Chastity's Chess Challenge, the same as this stream and my business, because I am Chastity. And I wrote the lyrics of that song, and I have the Suno app AI sing it because it sounds really good. So it's my theme song. And that's how I'm going to be beginning my streams. So, anyway, now that we've had that mandatory introduction, I will be explaining what the French defense is and why you might want to play it. The French defense is called a defense because it is a defense against the main way that white will start the game. So here, if you're playing the black player, most of the time white is going to play e4. They are going to move their king's pawn. And why do most people move the king's pawn? Well, quite simply because by moving the king's pawn, it allows both their bishop and their queen to get out. So e4 is a good move, don't get me wrong. It's a very good move. But because it's a good move, it's also very common. Now, a lot of black players will think, well, why don't I move my king's pawn 2 squares? And you can do that. For instance, you can totally do this. You can move your king's pawn 2 squares, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's absolutely okay. However, one problem that you will notice is because black is going second, white will have the upper hand. So, both black and white will do their own developing moves. And if black is not careful, they will realize, wait, what do I do here? They may not know what they're going to do. They may quickly find themselves in some kind of a trap, you know? And so it's kind of a crazy thing because it doesn't take long before they start realizing they are in trouble. And before you know it, it's like black is losing all their pieces. So you have to watch out for scholars made attacks. You have to watch out for all kinds of things, because there's a lot of tricks that can happen. And if you are a beginner player, especially, and you don't pay attention, you may find yourself checkmated by scholars mate. So you need to watch out for the queen and the bishop. They will start coming out and they will start attacking. However, here's where things get very interesting, and I'm going to show you the beauty of the French defense and why it will help you avoid scenarios like this. So let me make sure everything's going okay with the stream, and ignore the convoluted mess of the move list because as I make different moves and variations, it kind of fills up with random junk up there, but we're just going to ignore that. So let's show what happens. I'm going to delete these. Well, okay, we'll ignore that. I'll show you the French defense, what it looked like. This time, if you're going to use the French defense, white will move e4. They will move their king's pawn 2 squares. But for the French defense, you move the king's pawn 1 square. Now you might be wondering, why move this pawn 1 square? Why not move it 2? Well, remember the bishop we saw that went here? Notice this pawn blocks that path to that pawn. That's actually very important. You don't want your bishop to be able to target black's weak square. So that's a very important reason why this is actually not bad. Now, white will see this and they'll think, aha, I moved my pawn 2 squares, and they moved only 1. And then white will think, hey, I will get my second middle pawn out. They'll move their queen's pawn. Now, this is what you'll find that's very common. This won't always happen. They might make another move, but this is the most common here. And then what you will do as black is you will move your queen's pawn 2 squares. Now you have a nice diagonal going on. Now, this is important because once again, this setup it blocks white from moving the bishop here. You don't want white to move their bishop there. But in this position, white has two options. They could either capture this pawn with their pawn, or they could advance the pawn. So let's take a look at the exchange variation. The exchange variation is where they take that pawn and then you can take it back. Now notice this. What you have here is we have a symmetrical position. Part of the reason I like the French defense is because you can end up with a symmetrical position where both sides are capable of getting their bishops out. So basically, this bishop can move out to anywhere here, and this bishop can move out to anywhere here, just like white's bishops can. So the fact that we temporarily had that pawn right here blocking this bishop is irrelevant because the exchange variation happened. Now, keep in mind though, you can, if we back up a second, you don't even have to take that pawn with that pawn. You can, in fact, take it with the queen. Now, why would you do this? Well, if you take it with the pawn, then white can just put you in check with the queen, and then you have to figure out, what do I do about that? So you can avoid that trouble by, instead of capturing back with the pawn, capturing with the queen. Now, why is this a good move? Well, it's actually a very good move. I discovered this by accident one time, and I realized something. Black's queen here can't really be hurt right here because white can move the knight here, attacking the queen, but then black can move this bishop right here, and all of a sudden the knight is pinned. It can't move at all because it would put the black king in check right here. So white will probably try to defend it, but that's still not the worst thing in the world, because even if they do that, well, you just advance your queen and you simply kill this pawn, and then, no matter what white does, you still have stuff going on. They can move the knight here, attack the queen, and then you can capture the bishop. The queen captures back, and then you can capture this pawn. You see what I'm saying? You can just terrorize their side of the board. Now, if they're a really strong level player, or if they're a level 8 stockfish, they'll still kick your ass. Okay, that's just the truth of it. But if you're playing against someone of similar skill level, especially if you're someone who just learned chess and your opponent has learned just chess, they're going to be caught off guard by all this. So, and not only that, so think about this. Aside from the fact that this knight is useless if it goes there, this bishop, if the queen is right here, this bishop can't just put the king in check because then the queen kills it. So I would actually argue it might actually make more sense to capture back with the queen instead of the pawn. But it's really your preference on how you prefer to do things. So let's go back to the pawn exchange variation. This is still not bad. And even if the bishop does put you in check, in this particular case, you can just scare it away. So basically what's happened is, black is just starting to build a defense. We've eliminated the pawn that was along this file. And keep in mind, at any time, black has the option to put the king in check. That's totally an option there. Although it may not always be the best move to do. But that's the exchange variation. And remember, an opening like the French defense is just a way to get started with the game. You still have to make, 30 to 40 moves until checkmate. You have to make good moves the entire time to actually win the game. But as far as the opening, the French defense is actually a really solid opening. It's actually good. A lot of people are more into the Caro-Kann of the Scandinavian than the French defense, but I feel like they are all equally good. In fact, I would argue that the French defense is a rank up from the Scandinavian, because in the Scandinavian, white does this, black does this, white captures the pawn, the queen comes here, and then the knight attacks the queen. But now, because this isn't open, we can't pin the knight. So you can still move the queen to safety here and start doing things, but that gives white a chance to start doing things, and you could just find yourself in some real trouble, especially if you're not paying attention, you know. So it's just completely bizarre, the kind of things that can happen. Like, you may not realize the discovered check on the queen here. The Scandinavian's pretty good too, mind you, but I feel like the situation I just showed you in the exchange variation of the um, French defense, it's actually a lot better. I would say that when white takes this pawn, you find yourself in an improved Scandinavian position. So the French defense exchange variation, capturing back with the queen, is a better Scandinavian than the Scandinavian opening. That's what I think is cool about it. And keep in mind, the queen still has the option to put the king in check here in this case, because in this case, this pawn has already moved here. But that's not always what happens, okay? So in this French defense position, where black has pawns on e6 and d5, and white has two center pawns, the other possibility, this is actually pretty common, is the advanced variation. This is the advanced variation. It's the French defense advanced variation. Now remember, advanced variation does not mean this is more advanced as in more complicated. What advanced variation means is that the pawn has advanced, is that it has moved forward. Now you may wonder, why would somebody move this pawn forward? Well, there's a lot of good reasons, okay? Well, first of all, we have this issue. This pawn here is blocking some movement here. We can't move the bishop here or takes. And we can't move the knight here or it takes. So basically, by pushing that pawn there, white is seriously limiting our movement options. This is very problematic, actually. So when this happens, this is what I love to do. This is my favorite move in this position, is to move queen's bishop's pawn to c5. And notice that this looks like the queen's gambit from the black side. I call this the black queen's gambit because the entire point of this is to get white to capture this pawn, to trick them into capturing this pawn, because then we get this bishop out to this strong square here that's attacking the weak square of the king. Also, by getting a bishop out of the way, we are able to get one step closer to castling. Now, this can totally happen. Now, of course, we have a lot of things that can happen here. For example, this bishop could come here, and it could put the king in check. Now, there's several options that you can do here. And once again, openings like the French defense allow you to choose your personal style, because you still get to choose the final move. You don't have to follow my advice or the advice of any grandmaster who teaches this same opening. You can do things your way. But let me just show you a few of the options you have here. One option is moving the king out of the way. And you can do this, and that gets out of check here. But then white can then put your king in check here. But then you can do this, and then they can do this, and then you can do this, and then you can chase this bishop away. So you still end up in a pretty good position, mind you. Like, you're still safe. It's safe to do that. You can move the king, and it's a safe thing to do. Also, that exchange of events also remove the pawn from here. So now you have a little bit more free range of motion. But I personally don't like this option very much. I like the option of having the king be able to castle. Remember, the king can't castle if it's moved even once in the game. So we have some options of what we can do. The other two options, besides moving the king, and of course, it's also possible to move the king here, but then it's still just kind of stuck. So we can either put the bishop here, and they can take the bishop, but then we could say capture back with the knight is a good option, or we could put the knight in the way. Now notice the knight could go here or here. Which is better? Well, to tell you the truth, um, moving this knight here is probably the better option of those two, because then if the bishop captures it, then this pawn moves here, and that means this pawn blocks any more potential diagonal attacks against the king, say if this queen were to come out. So that's actually probably a good option. But in this position, what is my recommendation of what should you do? My recommendation in this case, if you're going to sacrifice either the knight or the bishop, sacrifice the bishop. And why is that? Because if this bishop dies, well, I mean, big deal. That bishop was blocked anyway. Like, it couldn't move because of our pawn structure. So we are exchanging a bad bishop for white's good bishop that had all this possibility of movement. There's all kinds of potential places on the light squares that bishop could have navigated to. Now their good bishop is gone. Our bad bishop is gone. And that just means we're one step closer to being able to castle, on perhaps the queen side, depending on how we want to go about this. So basically, there's a lot of options. The options are just numerous. And see, if we capture back with this knight here, then that obviously gives us, the chance to capture this pawn, which of course they can defend it, but then we can just start attacking things. Obviously, like we can kill the knight, and then we can put them in check here, and they can move the king, but then we just kill a pawn. Like, you see what I'm saying, people? Like, it's so easy to just get yourself in a position where you've eliminated a white's light squared bishop. You just start putting their king in check and just start doing things. Now, to tell you the truth, it doesn't always work out this well if I'm playing against a really good player, but it's actually pretty good. Now, you may wonder, how does the French defense rank against the Caro-Kann? Well, let me put it this way. Here's what I want to explain. The Caro-Kann opening, which is slightly different, it's very similar. It's where white still plays e4, but then the Caro-Kann defense is where you move this pawn instead. And the idea is basically the same here. Now, keep in mind, this can happen, and you can have, for example, an exchange variation and capture back, which is one option. And I don't like this option because then we just have to deal with we have this opening here. We have this weakness. We can still deal with it in the same ways, but personally, I don't like this as much. And see, we can still do this, but then this knight is actually a threat because we can't pin it because this is closed. And then we can also look at the advanced variation. Now, the advanced variation of the Caro-Kann is not bad, mind you. And this bishop has a chance to get out. So we can get this bishop out, for instance, outside of the pawn chain. And then as things happen, then we can still build our French defense here, kind of. We can get this bishop out. And this is not bad at all. We have a pyramid of pawns. So the Caro-Kann is not better or worse, but most of the grandmasters and then teachers like Levy Rosman prefer the Caro-Kann. The Caro-Kann is the same level of quality. However, I argue that the French defense is more fun because the French defense just leads itself into this black queen's gambit sort of situation where you're going to end up in a situation quite possibly like this, and you're going to try to trick them into taking this pawn, and then you'll capture back with the bishop here, and then you start doing an attack here. And if white isn't careful, you can start gaining up your pieces. They'll get some pieces out, but then you'll just start like, there we go. Ooh, check. Ooh, king moves away, and then let's see, is that checkmate? I think that's checkmate. Like, yeah, see that situation is checkmate. You know, so it I like the French defense because I like to go into this Queen's Gambit. And look at this. This is not called the Queen's Gambit, but it's basically the black version of the Queen's Gambit. The French defense really leads up to it, is what I feel like. So because I am a person who plays the Queen's Gambit as the white player, I find that the French defense more naturally fits my playstyle more than the Carl Khan. But I must give respect to the Carl Khan opening because Levy Rosman, known as Gotham Chess, really recommends it and says he's beaten 100 Grandmasters with the Carl Khan opening. So it's still strong even at Grandmaster level. And then even if we get in this position, White may not take this pawn. They may defend it with a move like this. But that's not the worst thing in the world. We can just start putting more pressure on it, and we can. The idea is you want this center pawn to fall. You're going to do anything you can, and White will do some things, but you're trying to get as many pieces on this as you can, you know? And it's just going to be very strange because if White doesn't know what they're doing, then before you know it, they may just think, "Oh, I'll get my king castle to safety," which is not bad by any means. But you have to realize now this center pawn, once you have enough pieces to gang up, if you have this knight here and this knight here and this queen here, well, it turns into this weird thing. So, for example, take the pawn. Take the pawn. Ooh, wait. White, yeah, okay, then we can take this, but then White can't take this back because then their queen dies. So by having more pieces on there, on that pawn than your opponent, then you can start gaining the advantage. So that's the thing is, the French defense is a totally legitimate opening, and this is only a basic introduction. Sometimes I win with the French defense, and sometimes I lose. But I love the way it feels to play the French defense. And also keep in mind, you can do a very similar thing. You can do a very similar thing with the white pieces. Most people don't do this. I'm just going to show you an example of how this might work if you reverse it. What if you try to do something similar? Let's say you're playing the white pieces and you want to move your king's pawn to e3, and then black moves their king's pawn 2 spaces, and then you get this here. Well, then you can end up in a similar situation, except you have to remember that when you are the white player, you have the advantage. So you have this situation going on, like they can take your pawn, you can take it, and then they can start attacking you, but it doesn't matter because you get out faster when you're white. You can just start, putting them in check. They defend with something, so White has an advantage anyway. And then with White, I usually like to play the Queen's Gambit anyway, which just works quite well, obviously. And then the Queen's Gambit has all kinds of things, but the Queen's Gambit, where you're trying to offer them that pawn so that you can just start, getting your center controlled there, then you have 2 pawns in the center. And no matter what they do here, you're gonna have they're gonna have a problem here. So basically the French defense is a good opening for black, and because it can lead to the situation where it's like the Queen's Gambit, that's a big part of the reason why I recommend it. And it's been the opening that I've used, and I love seeing all the possible combinations that happen here. I love seeing what happens when White takes the pawn, but I also love seeing some of the funny things that happen when they don't, and they start trying to defend it, because they might defend it with the knight, and then we take it. They take with the knight, and then we start attacking their knight here. Then they have to move the knight somewhere. They might move it back, whatever, but that just gives us a chance to start getting our pieces out here. They might put us in check here, sacrifice the bishop, do that, like, and I know I'm moving fast, but I've just played this position so many times that I start seeing these things. And before you know it, we're just in this situation where, we're forcing the king to move, and all kinds of chaos ensues. So it's just a lot of fun playing the French defense. I just like it. And when I first started playing the French defense, I was not very quick at it, and I didn't understand the theory behind it. But what happened is, after I watched a video by Gotham Chess, he did one of his 10-minute chess openings video on the French defense, and I really, really liked the way he explained it. And basically, I'm teaching you a similar style, but I've also shown some additional things, like exchange variation, capture back with the queen, that he didn't show, because I'm giving you more of the 30-minute chess opening, teaching the French defense. I'm trying to give you a longer, more in-depth reasoning behind why you might play the French defense. But remember, the French defense is just one opening. However, it is my favorite black opening. But I didn't say there was going to be a time when I would tell you, when would you not play the French defense? Well, I will explain. So let's go back to the beginning of the board here. Remember, the French defense is a response to e4 by white. But what if instead they do d4? Well, you can still do e6. You can still totally do that. And there's nothing wrong with that by any means. And you could quickly find yourself in a situation that looks just like the Queen's Gambit declined. But it's not the French defense anymore. Now it's the Queen's Gambit decline. And what I tend to do, whenever I see white doing their queen's pawn, I like to do my queen's pawn. And you may wonder, why would I do that? Why would I want to, why would I want to do that? Well, first of all, because that gives me options. Obviously, I could launch into the Queen's Gambit decline like this, and that sounds like something I would do. But it's also possible in this position, if we want to get this light squared bishop out and not have it trapped like we would in the French defense, that's totally a valid option too. And so they can do that, and then we can go and just sacrifice the bishop and kill the knight. They'll capture back, but now we've killed the knight. And because we've killed the knight, we can just capture this pawn, and there's no knight to come here because we killed it. So basically, you want to play, whenever white plays e4, moves their king's pawn 2 squares, you move your king's pawn 1 square. That is how you play the French defense, my friends. You get started there, and you can still decide what to do afterwards. Obviously, I showed you the pawn variation where, they got these pawns out, but also be prepared to see some weird moves. You might be seeing, getting a knight out here, and then you can do something similar if you want, but I still recommend getting this out here. I recommend getting both of these pawns out here just because it helps your case, because you don't want your king and queen to be too cramped here. And you'll still find yourself, at some point, they will move this queen's pawn 2 squares. Yes, they could move it 1 square, but why would they really do that? Because if they do that, then you capture their pawn captures back, and then you trade queens, the king has to move, and it can't castle anymore. So basically, when you start using the French defense, just those first 2 moves, just e4 and e6, right there, if you start with the French defense, you better prepare for an interesting game because all kinds of fun things could happen. Now, I've gone on for about 35 minutes with this. So if all you wanted was an introduction to the French defense, then you totally have that. I gave you a basic introduction to the French defense, and that's totally legit. You could go watch another video if you want, or you could stay with me. You could stay with me because I think now that I've completed my schoolwork and I took care of some other business, I'm going to just be playing some chess on live chess because apparently that's my favorite thing to do these days. So first, I'm going to play the ending theme, my Chess for All rap song, but then I'll keep the stream going for a little bit longer and play some chess.
Board is set, let's play our game. Everyone can join the same. Pieces move their timeless dance. In chess, there's always a chance. Kings and queens on either side. Pawns advance with humble pride. No one's left out in this fight. A game of skill, no dark, no light. Chess for all, chess for you. Every move, it's something new. No matter who or where you are. In this game, we're all a star. Black or white, it doesn't matter. On this board, no walls to shatter. Rich or poor, we all belong. In this fight, we're going strong. Even if you've never played, there's no need to be afraid. Anyone can learn this game. That's why chess has so much fame. Male or female, gay or straight, at this table no one's late. Every voice and move unique, all together we are sleek. Anyone can win this game, but when you lose, feel no shame. Even masters make mistakes, all your games are just remakes. Each new player finds their style, when you find it you will smile. Books and courses help us learn what we need to take our turn. Chess for all, chess for you. Every move, it's something new. No matter who or where you are. In this game, we're all a star.
Okay, there we are. So now that I've shown the French defense and some of the things that can happen, I'm going to be playing some real games with real people. And also, an important note here is that when you go to the main page and you go to, for example, quick pairing, there's different time controls here. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about there's bullet, there's blitz, there's rapid, and classical. Classical is the longest. 30 minutes or more is classical. 10 to 15 minutes is rapid. Blitz is, very much shorter time controls, and bullets, like, as you see, like 1 minute on each person clock, or maybe 2. And here's the thing is, when you play shorter time controls, sure, it's fun because you see things moving faster, and if you're someone who gets bored without moving things fast, then you're gonna like bullet chess. I'm bad at bullet chess, I must confess. I like to really think through my moves. So I'm a classical chess player, all right? And I decided that maybe the reason that my win percentage isn't that great is partly because when I try to play quick games because I'm short on time, then it just doesn't turn out well. So I'm going to play some classical chess here. So I'm just going to click, we're going to do a 30-minute classical chess game. That's what we're going to do. And it will match me with some random person. Let's see how it goes. We're just going to see how this goes. And we don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if we'll be playing the black or white pieces. Oh, I'm the white pieces. So here we go. We've got the Queen's Gambit. Well, we don't know if it's going to be a Queen's Gambit, but you see, there it is. Both when I move my Queen's Pawn, then they'd want to do the same. So now we're in Queen's Gambit territory. What are they going to do? Oh, Queen's Gambit declined. So let's see. How are we going to handle this? Well, here's the thing: is there's a lot of options. I can move this knight to c3. I can move this knight here. I can move this pawn here, or even here if I wanted to be really crazy. I think I'm going to move this knight to c3 because there's something I want to show you that's kind of cool, really. We'll see how this goes. See, they pin the knight, which is actually a good move. That's actually a really good move to pin the knight like that. It's not bad by any means. But then what we do here is we're going to move this queen here and put the king in check. And then watch, black is going to move their knight. Yep, see right here. Because they're going to move the knight there to defend this. So here's where it starts getting a little bit funny here, is that now what we want to do is now, remember, this bishop could take this knight once it's black's turn again, but we don't have to be worried too much about that because we can still capture back the bishop. So we're not in any danger here. So here's what we're going to do. This pawn is going to take that pawn. And then we'll see what they do here. So they capture back. Now, here's what I'm going to do. This is going to be a little bit funny. I'm going to try something here. I am going to advance this pawn here and see what happens. I'm going to see how this goes. Will they take that pawn? Or will the bishop proceed to capture the knight? What will they do? We don't know. See, we don't really know. So it's up to the opponent. Ooh. Oh, look at that. That's a bit weird. Yeah, that's kind of strange. Okay. So now we have this going on because we're going to now use this bishop and get it out here and attack this knight. They can't move the knight for this turn anyway. What will they do? Okay. They captured that pawn. Now we can't capture back yet because this knight is still pinned. But we don't have to worry too much about that because here's what we have going on. We're going to capture this knight here and put them in check. Then they can capture back with this pawn. We are not concerned with that because we will capture the pawn back. Now they will probably see they move the bishop there, but that's not bad by any means because now we get to come here with the queen and kill the pawn. So you see it all worked out well in the end. And now they move the queen there, which is kind of funny. And see, my queen can't move anywhere because it's in line with this king. So we kind of have a situation here. It's just a little bit weird. So here's what we want to do. We want to put this pawn here so that if the queen does capture my queen, I just capture back. That's what we're going to do. And it looked like that may be exactly what happens here. I'm predicting that queen will take my queen. Let's see what they do. I could be wrong, but I have a... What? Okay. I thought they were going to take my queen. And they did not do what I wanted them to do. Okay. That does it. So now I'm just going to capture their queen first. That's what I'm going to do. Now they captured back with the knight, which is all right. So now we're going to get this knight out here. And if this bishop captures this knight, then this knight will just come and hop right back there. Now the king has just castled over there, but we're not in a bad position. We still, now we can castle this king here, and that's not a bad thing to do. Okay. Okay. Let's attack this bishop right here. The bishop will take the knight. I have a feeling that that's exactly what it will do. They'll take the knight, and then we will probably capture with the pawn in this specific case. We're just going to capture with that pawn. Now they're trying to pin the knight here against the rook, which they can do, mind you. There's nothing to stop them from doing that. But we're just going to move the rook so that if they capture the knight, we just capture it back with our rook. That's still totally fine. I think we're fine here. I'm not sure who we is. We started talking to ourselves. It's an old tradition I started today. Yeah. Okay. This is fun. So what will black do? See, there's plenty of time to talk about it, to think about it. You know, it's a lot of fun to do this. So we have this situation. So now, how do we want to go about this? I want to get this. Yeah, I know. Yeah, let's move this knight right here. That's what I'm going to do. All right, there we are. Okay. Then let's start by getting this. We're going to get this pawn moved forward here. Okay, there we go. Now we can get this pawn over here. And now we have a situation where this rook protects this bishop. Hmm. Okay. What is happening here? Classical chess is for patient players who like to wait and think before making the best possible move. Trying to do blitz or bullet chess just leads to bad quality moves, and I don't recommend it. Okay, so now what will we do here? I think I will move this rook right here. I have a plan. Okay, that's weird. That's very weird. See, I have my pieces on dark squares because this bishop only can attack light squares. So that's kind of the important thing to consider here. So now, what do we want to do? We can, let's see. We want to carefully plan how this works. We don't want the king to be able to be put in check there. So we're gonna have to get it. I'm gonna have to move this king here. That bishop can put the king in check, but I don't want this rook coming down here. I did not like the look of how that was, so I moved my king to more safety over here. Okay, so now black has moved that rook there, which is a little bit odd, but that's, I mean, it's not really a problem of any kind. Not really. Because we're going to be moving this king here, so that even if there is an exchange of some pieces here, it won't be the worst thing. Because the bishop can't hurt my king, and if the rooks start trying to take my bishop, then they would be sacrificing a better piece for a worse piece, because the rooks are better than bishops in chess. So let's see what they do. Okay, they moved that there. That's interesting. Very interesting. Now, I still don't like the location of this bishop. This bishop is annoying me a little bit. Let's see here. I am going to. I want to start getting some things out here. Maybe I should advance this pawn. Maybe I should start getting, this pawn moved a little bit out here. See, it's a close game. We don't know what's going to happen. We really don't. So here we go. So they did that. I capture that pawn. That pawn will capture my pawn. That's what will probably happen. Okay. Then they did that. And see, then I can capture their pawn also. And then if they want to kill my rook with their rook, they can. But then, see, I take their rook. So, I mean, it is what it is, right? It's totally just what it is. So now, let's see what happens here. I'll move my rook right here and see if they want to take my rook or not. What will they do? What will happen here? Okay, so there we go. So now there are no rooks left in this game. They're just gone. All the rooks are gone. So perhaps the what am I gonna do here? The important thing is, as long as I keep my king on dark squares, then the opponent's bishop can't really do anything. Not really. So this is where it gets a little bit funny here. So we're going to get this bishop, we're going to move it over here. Wow. What a position here. Okay, yeah, this is kind of freaky, to tell you the truth. This is kind of a freaky situation here. Because see, I could put this bishop right here if I want. I could do that. Yeah, there's nothing that says I can't. I can totally do it. Okay, so see, this king here, it can't attack this pawn because of the bishop. It can't attack this pawn because of this pawn. It can't move here. It can move there, and it can move there. But I need to just bring my king around. As long as I play this safe, I might be able to win this game. I just might be able to win it. Now, my opponent could quite possibly resign. That's totally something that they might do. They might just resign, because the situation is we each have a bishop and a king, but I have 3 pawns and they only have 2 pawns. I know that may not seem like much, but trust me, one more pawn can make a difference. So it's a very close game. And both me and this person are in the 1500 range of classical chess here. I used to be 1700 in classical, but then I made some mistakes, you know? Plus, I like to play with openings that aren't about quick wins, but are about slowly wearing my opponents down. So that's another thing that has to be considered here. So here we are. We're going to get this king. I'm trying to get it around. This is really difficult to do. Now, this game could quite possibly end in a draw. I think it could end up in a draw. It could be a stalemate. My opponent will probably offer me a draw. Okay, they did that. All right. So now the king went there, and my king goes here. Okay. Fun, 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 fun. So now here's where it gets interesting because, see, I can move this pawn forward. That's what I can do. And what will they do? What will they do in response to that? My opponent's going to resign. Just watch. My opponent is going to resign. Because if they see what I'm seeing, they're going to realize I'm going to win. I'm in a winning position here. I can feel it. I can see it. Because, hear me out, guys. If their pawn takes my pawn there, I kill their bishop. So they can't do that. Because this pawn right here is the one thing defending this bishop. So they move their king. But here's the fun part, guys. If they don't take it, well, then my pawn simply gets to ignore that and advance, and I will get a second queen. I'll just get a second queen because this pawn literally can't move anywhere, meaning this bishop can't attack this. So they have no way to stop me from getting a second queen. And if they see this, they will either resign or, guys, look, Black resigned. White is victorious. Tell me, people, did I not call that or what? I told you my opponent would resign, and they did. Once I advanced that pawn there, they realized I was going to get a second queen, and it was just going to turn into a horrendous thing. So I say it's a winning position, but can I prove it's a winning position? Here's how we're going to do it. I'm going to try to finish this game against the computer. Let's see here. Let's go to the analysis board here for this position, and then let's see. I want to do continue from here. Okay, we're going to play with the computer in this position at Stockfish level 8. Now, and I will be playing white because I was the white player right there. So let's see how this goes. So waiting for Stockfish level 8. So you see how this is. So now they did that, and then I am able to kill. Wait, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to plain advance this pawn here. I'm playing a Stockfish level 8 just to complete the game because my opponent resigned and thereby cheated me out of the checkmate. So that's what we're going to do there. So now that that's happened, I've done this. So now what we have going on here is we're just going to move a few times. We're going to get the king to go somewhere. I'm trying to lure the king into a trap here. That's what I'm trying to do. So I'm going to put the king in check. I'm going to try to get it to go somewhere that it doesn't want to go to. I'm really gonna try this. This is really bizarre. The Stockfish level 8 is really going to still try to resist. It's going to try to resist in every way possible. You know, we'll see how it happens, though. We're going to see how this happens. We're going to put the king in check again here. Okay, so there we are. And now, what do we have going on? Now you see, we can advance this pawn here and attack this bishop. Now the bishop has just moved, and that is a totally acceptable thing for the bishop to do. Of course it is. Then we're going to, okay, let's put the king in check again. See, even though I'm against Stalkers level 8, I have a queen and they don't. So at this point, I'm basically unstoppable. So we're going to sacrifice the bishop, put the king in check. The king will take the bishop. Wait, the king didn't take the bishop. I must say I'm impressed. I'm actually very impressed right now. So here's what we'll do instead. Instead, we're just going to move this bishop way over here, and we'll just try something different. We're going to just try something different. Oh, now we'll take this. We're going to take this. So now, okay, now we've got it. Now we've basically got it. We're just going to wipe some things out here. And I just need to close in and finish this with a checkmate. So let's bring the king here. We're going to make sure that the king still has some valid places to move to. So yeah, we're going to make sure, yes. So the king still has places to move to, but we're going to reduce the amount of space that the king has to work with. The king is going to be forced to move. Yeah, the king is going to be forced to move further down the line. And I see how it's going to work. We're just gonna get this bishop far away for now. That king can't do anything. It really can't do much. So we're going to, let's see here. Yeah. Wow, this is crazy. So now that the king is limited in its movement, it has to move around there. And we can just get a second queen and finish this. So yeah, as long as we still leave a valid space for the king to go, now we get, okay, first we're going to get this bishop right here, and then we're going to get this queen right here. The king has to move. Checkmate. So that was good. So I got myself into a situation where I had a second queen and my opponent had none. And when I have that kind of a piece advantage, not even Stockfish level 8 can beat me when I have a huge material advantage. So that's how when your opponent resigns from a game and you were about to win and they just resign, yeah, you still win, but it's not as satisfying as actually checkmating them. So I just use the computer to finish the game. So anyway, let's go back though. This is the position here, but let's actually go back. We're going to go to my profile. We're going to look at the games that I recently played. Here we have, yeah, so let's go back to the games. Now, I won that one, but then this is the one where Black resigned. Now, I won this game, and I'm very glad I won this game. That's great. But the point of chess is to have fun. But okay, now I made a mistake when I played this game. I just played it live on the stream, so you guys saw everything. But I made a mistake. I know exactly where I made the mistake. There was a lot of things. I was playing good, but I made one key mistake. And it happened later on after many pieces had exchanged. So let's go here. I know where the mistake is. I'm going to show you exactly where the mistake is. See, here's the thing is, okay, it was actually further back than this. It was actually further back than this. See, back when, see, this bishop was here. So that knight was there and that bishop was there. Now, here's the thing. They took my knight there. They took my knight and then I took their knight. But there was a better move for black here. There was a better move for black. Because here, if my opponent had moved the rook down here, and if then I would have been in check, and my only valid move would have been to get this rook down here, but then this bishop would also attack us, so it would be checkmate. Let me go to the analysis board and let me see, because if they had gone here, it's check. Then, like, the king can't go anywhere. It goes here, checkmate. Literally, I can't take it. That's checkmate. My opponent had the chance to checkmate me in 2 moves, and they missed it. So, yes, I won that game, but I could have just as easily lost had my opponent seen that. Now, I realized too late. See, while I was playing, I realized the mistake, because I realized that I had made a mistake after I did that, but I just pretended not to notice, and I hoped my opponent wouldn't notice, because I just realized that that was going to lead to a situation there, but I didn't think before I moved there. All of my other moves were actually very high quality in this game, but there was a blunder. So, but anyway, I saw that. They could have checkmated me. So that was actually a really good game. It was actually a perfect example of a game, and then my opponent resigned in that position. So altogether, this has been a very successful stream. Very successful. I got to go over the French defense opening, and then I played a classical game in one. Of course, I didn't get to use the French defense because I was the white player. But I think what I actually want to do, though, is I want to show you something. This is only one kind of chess. I'm going to get on shogi.org, which is a site it's a fork from Lichess, and I'm going to play some Japanese chess. Let's play a casual 30-minute game here. Okay. I don't know. I'm playing Japanese chess with Anonymous, which is probably just a random person. So I don't know how this is all going to go down. I really don't know. This is kind of it's one of those situations where we don't know what's going to happen. We really don't know. But I have like a certain opening principle, something I'm trying to do here. Basically, so the idea here is that I'm playing shogi, and if you've never played shogi before, you may be confused, but I also play shogi and shang-chi, so I play Japanese and Chinese chess as well. And since I already had a successful Western chess game, we're just going to go with this. We're just going to try this out. We're going to see how we can do here. What I'm thinking here, I'm thinking I'm going to get my gold general out here. See, the gold generals are actually really good attackers. They're actually pretty good. I'm just going to get this gold general here just to, for some extra defense. It's kind of what I want to do here. See, I don't really like the fact that this pawn is closing in here. And shogi is very different than and I like that this is a 30-minute game. That's why I clicked on this one, because a 30-minute shogi game is also going to be higher quality moves than a 5 or 10-minute shogi game. So I've won a Western chess game. Now I'm playing Japanese chess. Can I win a Japanese chess game? Now, Shogi is interesting. The fact that it lets you play against people who are guests who don't even have accounts is one of the things that makes the site great, in my opinion. So let's see. Let's get this. We're going to get this other gold general out here. So we're going to do. Yeah, see, we don't know what's going to happen here. Oh, no. Okay. Oh, okay, guys, I messed up. Oh, wait. Okay, see, this knight attacks this bishop. But wait a minute. The bishop, see, the bishop can go here. The bishop can totally go there. So it's not dead yet. I don't know what's happening here. I really don't. But my bishop is still a little bit cramped. I still don't like the position that my bishop is in. It's a little bit freaky. What will my opponent do? What will they do? Okay. Okay. So now they moved that pawn there. I am going to capture this pawn with my bishop, because that way my bishop is no longer trapped where it was. So I'm glad I did that. I'm glad I moved the bishop and didn't let it get killed by the knight. Now, what is my opponent going to do here? That's a good question. We don't know what they'll do. We really don't. Okay, so now we'll see what they've done is they've moved the wait a minute. Oh, guys, look at this. See, this is why I do this. Okay, guys, I have options. My bishop can come here, and it can advance, and it can take a pawn. Or this bishop could go here, putting the king in check at the same time as promoting, which is clearly the better option. Check. The king has to get out of check. They'll move the rook. I bet they're going to move the rook. They're going to move the rook and put it in the way of the king. That's what I'm thinking they'll do. Oh wow. Guys, I could win the shogi game. I absolutely could win the shogi game. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm not doing bad. Wait. Your opponent left the game. You can claim victory, call the game a draw, or wait. I will claim victory. I am claiming victory because my opponent just resigned in shogi. Okay, guys, I'm on fire tonight. I'm having a good night. Okay, so first I won a chess game. It was a close game, but I won. Now I've won a shogi game, so I've won Japanese chess. So now I'm going to do the final and ultimate challenge. I'm going to play Chinese chess. I'm going to play Chinese chess and see if I can win. Now you may wonder, where do you go to play Chinese chess? I don't show you this very often. In fact, I don't even know if I ever showed this on a stream. But there's a site dedicated to Chinese chess. So what you want to do is you want to go to xiangquai.com. I know it's pronounced Xiangqi or whatever, but I'm going to see if I can sign into my account. I'm going to sign in. Yes, I have a sign in. Okay. So now I am on the website for playing Chinese chess. And I don't really know how to play it very well. I'm pretty good at chess. I'm sort of advanced at chess. I'm still beginner level at shogi, but I win sometimes. Now, Chinese chess, I know how to play, but it's a lot harder. Okay, so let me first show an example. I'm going to play against the computer. I'm going to play against a level 1 computer here. I could probably beat level 1. I'm gonna play the level 1 computer just as sort of an introduction here to, figuring this out here. So I always struggle to know what is a good first move to do in this game. Like personally, I feel like it's probably, yeah. See, the cannons, they can jump over. See, this cannon, it jumps over. If there's another piece, you can jump over it. I could capture that knight with this, but then I lose my cannon, and I don't really want to do that. So this is where it starts getting kind of freaky. I think what I'll do here is I will move this cannon here, and okay. You see now what the opponent has done is they move this cannon. This cannon is threatening to attack this pawn, which is why I must defend it by moving this knight. Okay, now they move their knight there. I'm not sure why, but they did that. So now my cannon will go there and capture that. And then my cannon can also go here and it can capture here. Okay. But see, now this cannon is actually in danger because see, I don't want to explain the knight movement. The knight movement is complicated. That you need a tutorial or a book for that. But now this knight's attack, because of the location of the opponent's cannon, was blocked from jumping. But now it can jump. So I'm going to just have to be very careful and find a good way to deal with this. I'm going to move this to a sort of a safe place. Okay, now this rook is attacking this pawn, and this pawn is not really defended exactly. So that's problematic. But now, see, by doing this, that rook moved, and that means that this pawn is now undefended. Okay, now the rook could have killed this pawn here, but it chose not to. So that leads us to some interesting situations here. So I don't want this cannon to get killed. I don't want that. So I may need to just move the cannon here. This is level 1 computer, so I have a chance. I have a chance at winning against this computer because it's a level 1 computer, so it's going to have the lowest quality of moves. Let's advance this pawn here. Now this cannon is now attacking my knight because it has this pawn to jump over. As you see, I know the rules. I know the basics of how to play. So that's obviously that's not a problem. But then we also have, okay, let's see here. Wait a minute. How do I want to handle that? Obviously, I will do what I have to do to avoid this knight being taken. I'm just going to move. There we go. I'm just going to move that knight out of the way there. All right. And then I'm going to advance this thing to be over here. Okay, I attacked the elephant, but it got away. The elephant got away. What I like is that there's no time limit on here. Exactly, there's not really a time limit. um, when you're playing against the computer, whereas there is when you're playing against real people on this website. But this is the website. If you want to find a Chinese chess match, this is the website that you want to do it at, because there's a lot of Chinese people who play on here, and maybe some other Americans too, maybe, but I don't know. So now we're going to do this. Now the rook went there, which surprises me a little bit. So now, but I'm just going to ignore that. I'm just going to go, I'm going to kill the elephant. Wait, did they take anything of mine? Okay. Yeah, so that's what happened. I'm going back through the move because I just wanted to see what series of events happened. So see, the rooks are coming down here, but they aren't really attacking me exactly. You know what I'm saying? They're not really being much of a threat to me. Hmm. Okay. Let's try coming here, and then let's try check. All right, there's that. So we did that. And then, okay. Yeah, this is a wild game. So now I'm going to advance this pawn again. I'm not sure what the opponent is doing, but I'm going to come here. Pawns can move sideways once they cross the river, by the way, just so you know. So now we're going to take that knight. Then we're going to bring this pawn over here. Pawns never move backwards, but once they cross the river, which is the middle of the board, then they can do some funny stuff. So now we put the king in check. So, but this pawn, because of the weird movement of these things, this is difficult here. So we're going to do that, put the king in check. But now this pawn gets to kill that cannon. So see, now we're gaining the advantage here. We're gaining the advantage here in this bizarre way, simply due to the fact that now we've captured a lot of the opponent's pieces. So we're going to do this, and there's that, and then we go here, put the king in check. They put this knight in the way, put the king in check again, and then they did that, and then we kill that, and they just did that. So now we kill that cannon with that cannon. And now we put the king in check there. And now they put the rook in the way, put in check. I just beat the computer level 1. I beat the computer level 1, which is not bad, but it's still only a level 1 computer. I just beat the level 1 computer in Chinese chess. I wiped out most of their pieces before I checkmated it. And I'm not even good at this game. But we're gonna play online. I'm gonna set, okay, it has time controls. I can do a 20-minute game. I'm gonna try this. I'm going to try playing a 20-minute Chinese chess game. So this is like classical. I'm just going to see if I can actually I'm gonna try to win. Don't get me wrong, guys. I'm gonna try to win here, but this is Chinese chess. I'm not as good as I am at Western or Japanese chess. So here we are. I have to make a move. Okay, there we go. I just need to make a move to start the game. I'll do that. Okay, then that happened. That's fine. So they did that. I will get this thing moved here. Okay. Hmm. Yeah, I'll tell you, people, this is freaking weird. So now we have, oh wait, oh, that knight is trying to attack my, yeah, that's trying to attack that. I don't like that at all. So let's move this to safety. Okay. Yeah, this knight is trying to. Oh, see, yeah, see that knight is causing problems for us. It's totally causing me problems because okay, this knight is forking this and this. So I'm having a little bit of trouble now because I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing. um. Okay, so you know what? I suppose it's more important to um. Hmm. Huh. I'm not sure, honestly. I'm not sure how I want to do this. I just don't want my cannon to die yet. So I need to get this. Yeah, let's get this cannon just moved back here somewhere. I wasn't sure where to move it to. Honestly, I just don't know. Okay, it's my opponent's turn, and I just realized I made a big mistake. But does my opponent see it? I had a feeling that if I play against a real human who knows how to play Chinese chess better, that I would lose. Oh, okay, they did that. I didn't expect it. Oh well. So I'm going to capture that pawn. I mean, why not? Why not? Wait a minute. Okay, let's capture that knight. Yeah, let's capture the knight. Oh, now look what they did. See, this is bad because see now I have to move my king and they can kill my rook next turn. See, and I can't stop it. There's no way to stop that. So I just lost a rook. I am doing horrible. Um, yeah. I don't know, guys. This is bizarre. Okay, and then they want to kill that rook, that knight. They want to kill the knight. That's what they want to do. Oh, okay. How interesting. So now I'm just going to advance this pawn. I don't have a good plan for this game, guys. This is Chinese chess. It is what it is. And because I don't know how to play Chinese chess as well, I make a lot of mistakes. But just because I lost one of my rooks doesn't mean that I've lost the whole game. Yeah, there's still pieces on the board. Let's see here. Oh, okay, so they did that. So they did that. I'm just gonna go ahead. I'm gonna kill that knight with that, then of course they'll be able to um, kill my cannon. Obviously, that's true. But whatever. Oh, okay, that's weird. So now I'm going to. Okay, we're gonna do that and put the king in check. Okay, interesting. Um, wait a minute. I can kill the elephant. Wait, I could kill the elephant, or I could prevent my wait. Yeah, because I don't want them to kill this cannon. So I think what I'll do is I will move this knight here to defend the cannon. Because this knight will defend. Okay, so now they haven't killed it. But now I still have a chance to I can kill the elephant. The game's not over, folks. And because I've lost a lot, my rating is super low. So I'm playing against another player who's also rated pretty low. You play against people of similar rating, just like in chess or shogi. And you realize that this is Chinese chess. It's still very similar because checkmate is a concept, but there's some additional rules with the kings and the cannons and the knights, particularly. Knights can be blocked in their jumps, which is weird. So now I'm in check here, and my only options are to either um, move the king here or here, up or down. And to tell you the truth, I don't feel like there's a good option in either case. I'm in big trouble. So I'm just going to move the king back to where it was because I don't see any other option here. Okay, I got nothing. My king is in trouble. My king is in some serious trouble right now. I could be checkmated. I could be. Okay, so now see what they did is they put my king in check with the cannon, but if I move this out of the way, the cannon doesn't have anything to jump with. It can't jump over my piece there, so I'm not in check now. Okay, and now, interesting, I thought they were going to put me in check with this rook, which theoretically, yeah, they could have done something like that. But now we have this situation where, okay, I've got to be careful with this. I have to be really careful. Um, so what we're going to do here is let's move this knight here and put the king in check using my cannon. Then what will they do? What will they do? This is weird. This is extremely weird. So they're in check. Oh, wow. Wow, dude. The game's not over yet, but it could be. Okay, so you see what they did there is now. Okay, what do we got? Okay, now I'm lost again. So let's try putting the king in check this way. Put the king in check. And then what can we do? Yeah, I don't have anything good going on here. Like guys, I really my cannons are just kind of trapped they don't have any good plans. I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to move this cannon down here. I have a reason, but I don't know if it's any good. I could be losing this game so bad. And the king is trapped in its palace. The kings cannot go outside of their main 3x3 square area. And see, the pieces go on the intersections between the squares, so it's a little bit complicated. Okay, so so what just happened? They killed my guard, my palace guard. They killed my palace guard with that. Okay, and then I will kill that. And now, okay, guys, this is insane. I'm in trouble, guys. I'm losing this game here. Okay, whatever. Wait a minute, guys. I just realized something. Wait a minute. Guys, I just realized I made a huge mistake. Because I could have, oh guys, I feel like an idiot. See, this cannon could have killed this rook, but I didn't see at the time. I could have killed that rook and avoided the checkmate, but I missed it. So I had a chess game where I made a mistake, but my opponent missed it. But now this time they made a mistake and I missed it because I am the inexperienced Chinese chess player that plays Western chess and even Japanese chess better than Chinese chess. So like I always say, we don't always make the best move, but the point of chess is to have fun. Ooh, if you keep playing, you will improve. You'll believe me when the game is done. So anyway, I lost at Chinese chess. I need to improve at Chinese chess, obviously, but I still love the players and I love the game. I am the Taylor Swift of chess. So anyway, I've been going for over an hour and a half. I'm trying to think, is there anything else that I want to show you? Is there anything else I want to show you in this stream? Honestly, I'm not too sure. I do like the quality of the stream. I love that I have this new checkerboard rainbow shirt that my mom gave me. And I've played Western, Japanese, and Chinese chess all in one stream. This is honestly the best stream ever. So, whatever. Thank you for watching, and I know parts of this will be educational, obviously, for somebody. I need to get better at Chinese chess. I need to practice a lot because the way to keep getting better is to keep playing until you finally win. That is the secret, my friends. So, I guess this is the end. Oh well. Yep, that's the end. So let's do the ending. Let's do the ending song one more time. I did it earlier in the stream, but it's a nice chess rap. Okay, we'll do it one more time, then we'll end the stream.
Play our game. Everyone can join the fame. Pieces move their timeless dance. In chess there's always a chance. Kings and queens on either side. Pawns advance with humble pride. No one's left out in this fight. A game of skill, no dark, no light. Chess for all, chess for you. Every move, it's something new. No matter who or where you are, in this game we're all a star. Black or white, it doesn't matter. On this board, no walls to shatter. Rich or poor, we all belong. In this fight, we're going strong. Even if you've never played, there's no need to be afraid. Anyone can learn this game. That's why chess has so much fame. Male or female, gay or straight, at this table, no one's late. Every voice and move unique. All together we are sleek. Anyone can win this game, but when you lose, feel no shame. Even masters make mistakes. All your games are just remakes. Each new player finds their style. When you find it, you will smile. Books and courses help us learn what we need to take our turn. Chess for all, chess for you. Every move